Hello. Today's pretty late, and it's like 9:21 p.m. on Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024, and today marks 15 years since Windows 7 came out. Now, I have some notes that I have some like things regarding Windows 7. It was released 15 years ago as a response to intense criticisms Microsoft faced with Windows Vista. So many new features that we take for granted now were introduced in Windows 7, such as the super bar, which is the taskbar below, window snapping. So if I snap this window like this, it shows up like that. And if I and I could also do the whole thing as well. um Windows Media Player, Libraries and File Explorer, which I won't show you on my main machine, and many others. Those features are still in Windows 10 and Windows 11, and it was the predominant operating system for for much of the 2010s, being used by consumers, businesses, schools, embedded devices, gamers, and many more. Many hesitated to upgrade to Windows 8 and Windows 10, but eventually, when the end of support of Windows 7 happened, which they did warn about in the years leading up to. This is a picture that I took in 2019 when I visited Japan, and this was counted down to how many days you had left for Windows 7 support. So they suggested you buy some Windows 10 PCs. I guess they were under ninth. Intel was under like ninth generation at that point. Now they're experimenting with something else, with the Core Ultra or something. So, yeah. And, it was also the last edition of Windows to come with Microsoft's Windows Media Center, but I feel like there are better alternatives now, better cross-platform alternatives. And finally, Windows 7, like Vista, came in 6 different editions: Starter, Home Basic, Home Premium, Professional, Enterprise, and Ultimate. So today we'll be taking a look at Windows 7 Professional. So without further ado, we're just going to start the VM. This is the same software I used last week. Now, I stored this on PCI 4 SSD while emulating SATA, so that's why it's lightning fast. So here is Nanaka Madobe, who is the de facto avatar of Windows 7 in Japan. And we also have some issues with connection, sadly. Oh, we're actually connected now. So, here you could see that I used the wallpaper of Madobe instead of I forgot to set the icon too. Let's change the picture. Browse for more. Oh, I forgot to copy the icon over. But whatever. You get the idea now. So, first we want to demonstrate that the arrow theme was still in Windows, was a carryover from Windows 7. So you see here, and you could just select stuff like this is also the last version of Windows to come with built with pre-installed games. Like for example, if you want to go, actually, there's no games in the professional version, but in the home, basic, home premium, and ultimate version, they have games. So you also have the anytime upgrade if you want to, and you also have browsers too. But the browser I'm using today is called Supernium, which is a build of Google Chrome that works on older Windows versions. Don't expect it to be as quick. So let's start by typing in YouTube. I already browsed YouTube earlier today before the stream, and we have a lot of we have a lot of stuff. So being that I am a YouTuber, let's search for the Decisive Collision. One of my most popular uploads. So it's this one. And we have to wait 13 seconds because uBlock Origin Lite is not as good as the original uBlock Origin. I'll just play a snippet of this. Yeah, I'm sorry if I cut it like short, but I will show you uh, I will show you the link for this work I did on YouTube years ago. I'll also pin it as well. If you want to check more, if you want to listen to the whole 1 hour. So that's the browser. We won't be going into any news sites because we're actually in the midst of a very heated environment right now. So that's how Supermium set up. Now you can go to accessories and go access a ton of stuff. Like, for example, actually we'll save this for the end of the stream. We have paint here, so you could just paint stuff and all that stuff. But many people would prefer using Photoshop or something more advanced. Let's see. I got a second chat message, but my chat rate is 2, but I only see one message for some reason. You also have maintenance, so you can create a system repair disk or something. You have games, accessories. Let's look at the ESAV Access Center, which is now accessibility in Windows 10.
Always scan this section.
Okay, so now you can click, you can do a lot of stuff that was considered cutting edge for 2009. But we don't need it. Also, the current version of Remote Desktop Connection is based off Windows 7's Remote Desktop Connection, but I won't be using it because it requires, like, a lot of stuff. You also have sticky notes. This is the first version of Windows to have sticky notes. So, for example, if you also have gadgets too, which did not make it to Windows 8. So, at least they knew the privacy stuff. So, we open up the currency. Obviously, this doesn't work anymore, but you did know that back then the US dollar was very weak when it was when it first came out. So that's why it doesn't work anymore. How we could just type something like hello, and that's how you put a sticky note on your desktop. I mean, Windows 10 also has sticky notes too. So you could close it to delete it, or you can just but this, unlike Windows 10 where you could just hide it, in Windows 7 is permanent. When you click on the X button, it gets deleted. So yeah. Then you have a math input panel, which Apple just added to iPad OS 18. You have getting started. You can do command prompt. Yanami Madobe. Actually, that's the avatar that's on screen. And let's check out the control panel. You have system and security. So yeah, you have user accounts and card space. You also have internet options. Now I want to come back here and look for something called BitLocker, because BitLocker is now enabled by default in Windows 11, as I mentioned last week, and you have to make sure you disable it. You also have to disable Microsoft Recall too, which I posted the commands on the community tab. Sorry, I'm just drinking hot cocoa. so go here. You have you have a 5700X of 4 gigs of RAM. This is my Windows 7, and this is just some other stuff. Now we're just going to go to another thing too. You could also change the themes as well, but we're gonna save this theme as let me check the name again. Yeah, let's save it as such. And you could choose other themes, like architecture, which is my personal favorite. They used to have more themes, but this is the US when it was still great, but now it's just a cesspool, honestly. You can also switch back to the original Windows 7 theme, or switch to the basic themes, or go back to this theme. And, yeah, let's go to music and select this track. This is also from Cold Steel. So, the addition of media player that is, here. Go open up the mixer. And lower the volume for, is also found on, like, here. Also found in Windows 10 and Windows 11. Although in Windows 11, be aware that is a legacy product. So you have 3 pre-built songs and 1 song that I actually bought from iTunes. So there's media player. Now yeah. So there's also some other stuff I could do as well, like explore other stuff too. But you also have Media Center, which I obviously cannot start because of the graphics not being like really strong. Here you also have DVD Maker, which is kind of antiquated, and unfortunately the Adobe Encore can no longer be downloaded, which means that you have to pay thousands of dollars for a disc. Then you have to go through Adobe support, and it's just the other software does exist, but it's not as good as Encore. Okay, now continuing with our you also manage default programs very easily. Unlike we couldn't do that. I forgot to turn off drag and drop, and I also forgot to turn off shared clipboard. So you could choose Supermium as a web browsing and set this program as default. But you could choose defaults, but there's no option like that in Windows 11, sadly. You have to go through everything, and then you have to choose that. So that's why I don't like the new Windows operating systems as much. I mean, if I had a good hardware back when Windows 7 first came out, I would have loved it more, but I was still in elementary to middle school when this operating system was in its heyday, so I was not as fortunate to have a good experience on Windows 7. Plus, a lot of computer viruses were circulating, and Windows 7 did not come with any, like, anything. So, now we're going to do, something in Microsoft Paint, because we're nearing, we're possibly nearing the end of, my allotted time slot. I actually have until 10, but I'm stopping at 9:45, so let's go Images. And let's go search for Twitch logo. Background. Now, also this is in response to some. There's also some pics here. But this is Twitch logo. By the way, I did close my account from Twitch, so we're going to put this in pictures. And we're going to open this with Microsoft Paint. And then we're going to type in because I've heard something very, very disgusting about Twitch. I mean, I won't be explaining it in detail. However, I will be saying that Twitch's double standards have become so evident, and also its discrimination too, that I was right in closing my account last year because they allow literal hate speech on their platform, but just talking about the launch of the Super Famicom can get you banned from streamer's like one streamer's live stream. That happened to me last year, by the way. So I'm going to type in hashtag boycott Twitch, and we're going to change the color to white. Actually, you have to set this to white yourself, and then you have to make the text bigger. So we're going to zoom out. This is how we all did photo editing back in the day when we couldn't afford Photoshop. Okay, now we're going to move the text, or try to move the text, because as soon as we click out of this, it's already permanently there. No, just kidding. Actually, no. Actually, it is permanently there. What am I thinking about? So that's, yeah. That just says a lot. So you hit save it as PNG, and save it as boycott Twitch. Because, I will, because if you get banned for innocent conversations, but they allow literal hate speech and threats to continue unmoderated on Twitch, it is just not. Let's just change the sounds to Windows default, and then we're going to overwrite our current theme. Okay, so now we could also change our desktop background. We're going to change this to boycott Twitch. And we're also going to change this to, we could also disable transparency too, to increase performance. Actually, violet is a little bit too, okay, so this says boycott Twitch. Now we're going to close out of this. So that's all I have to do for today. Honestly, because Twitch is just has a very toxic culture, and they also had a panel at TwitchCon that was inherently racist, but of course they don't care because all they care about is money from the sponsors. So I think that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Actually, I might not be doing another stream this week because I have a lot of assignments to do. So, yeah. I'll see you then.